news. The information discussed on Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell is believed to be from reliable sources. However, no responsibility is assumed for inaccuracies. No statement made on this broadcast should be construed as a specific recommendation of a particular investment product. Views expressed are those of the speakers and do not necessarily represent those of CBS Radio. Use only as directed.
Smiles, everyone. Smiles. And prepare yourself for...
Show me the money!
Ladies and gentlemen, the radio broadcast experience designed to keep your wallet in top condition. It's Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Talkin' money. Talkin' money.
More money, more money, more money.
And now entering the studio, your guru for fiscal fitness, Jeff Tarbell.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I am not Jeff Tarbell. This is John Fotorero. Jeff Tarbell is remotely here, I think.
Remotely here.
He is there. I can hear him.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good morning. We're here. We got Chris Forlad here, too.
Chris is there?
He is.
It's okay. How are you boys doing up there?
We're here. We have no cookies, though, this morning.
Okay, the show is over. Gotta go. Gotta go. Just like the French, the answer is no. No cookies for you. I did have scrambled eggs this morning, so I'm here in the beautiful Meadowwood Resort. I don't know if you've ever been to Meadowwood. You been to Meadowwood, John?
I have not.
Yeah, Meadowwood is. I haven't been here in a while, but it's kind of tucked up in the. It kind of sounds like a drug and alcohol rehab place, which is probably exactly what I need after being gone for 10 days. Not so much the drugs, but the alcohol. And we are up here for a one-day conference. Came in last night, and if you have not come up to the Meadowwood Resort, it's in St. Helena. Gentlemen, write this down because you almost probably can't screw this up if you bring your woman, your girlfriend, your wife, or your boyfriend. I'm not going to judge. Whatever you want to bring. Up here, you can come on up to Meadowwood, but it is beautiful up here. It's just been phenomenal, and I thank them so much for setting us up. So how are you guys doing down there?
We're good. We're sitting here in cloudy, gloomy Sacramento, but it's going to be a good day. It's going to be warm.
We don't want warm. This is winter. We need snow.
I know. Isn't that weird?
We need more snow. We've got some Sierra Tahoe ski passes to give away too, so we'll do that today. So thank you for tuning back in. We are back live after being gone, so about 7 or 8 days. John and his lovely wife, and Kim and I, and about 12 others decided to embark across the pond. And for those of you who follow the show, you'll note that I was exceptionally concerned about sitting my butt in a chair for 12 hours straight, and it wasn't so bad. It wasn't
Nice.
So bad. Coming back was a little different, and I got off the plane after 12 hours coming this direction, and my ankles looked like cankles. I looked like I was about ready to give birth or something. I had this nasty rash around my ankles, and maybe something to do with the French. I'm not sure. But well, for whatever reason, coming back, it was not the same. I have subsequently learned you need to get up at least once an hour, move around a little bit, and maybe get some compression socks, something to keep the blood in your brain. So if I sound a little bit out in left field today, more than normal, it's because all the blood is back in my left shoe. But we had a great trip. What are your thoughts, John, about now? Is that your first? That's not your first trip overseas, is it?
No, it's not.
No.
But
John,
yeah, it was a great time. I mean, my comment through the week to most people was, everyone should take a trip to Europe at least once in their lifetime, if not every 3 to 5 years, just to see the differences, the people, the good things they do overseas, some of the maybe not so good things, and I mean, you can't get fried eggs if you want scrambled eggs.
Well, you can't in France. So I'll give you my observations. As I'm 46 years old, I have never been farther than maybe Florida once, and a couple trips down to Tijuana. But beyond that, that's kind of the extent of my world travels.
That's worldly.
Yeah, that's worldly. So I mentioned to people when I got back, it was a little bit like looking into the past and a little bit like looking into the future. And it was so for those of you who don't know, we went on a Switzerland ski trip and never actually made it. We actually made it to Switzerland. We landed in Switzerland and then moved on into France, and subsequently moved on into Italy. And I will tell you that the Swiss are exactly like their watches. What I mean is everything is in complete order, very clean. It works well. And if you are, just to give you an example, if you're in line to go through the security checkpoint, and the little sign up there says your wait is 10 minutes. And then the sign changed to 15 minutes, and immediately some lady ran from the back, opened up into the line, and pushed people through to get it back to the 10 minutes. If they tell you it's going to be 10 minutes, it's not going to be 9.5, and it's not going to be 10.5. It's going to be 10 minutes for you to get through. So if you like that, and I do, Switzerland was a very much like you would expect. France, not so much. I'm not sure even the French like the French. And most of the people you deal with in France, or at least that we dealt with, were not from France. They would actually make fun of the French. So it was France was a beautiful place. The Chamonix Valley and Mont Blanc and that area is gorgeous. But they'll do things the way they want to do them, on the time frame that they want to do them. And if that meets your expectations, great. And if it does not, then that's just too damn bad, because they're going to do it their way or the highway. And so that was a kind of an interesting lesson. But we had. I mentioned you're kind of looking forward and you're looking backwards. What I thought was kind of fascinating a little bit was you look at the United States, which is 236 years old or something like that, and you look at how much we've accomplished in this country in a relatively short period of time, and you go back there and you see some of the things that they do, like, and even their so-called nice hotels and some of the things you're looking at. I'm looking like at a blow dryer that I think my mom had in the 60s. And you go into a public restroom, even in Italy, and the public restroom is a glorified hole in the ground. I mean, it's got porcelain around it, so you can tell the difference between the wall and the floor. But there's no public toilets. It is a hole in the ground, and you wonder, this is as far as you guys could come in the last 1,000 years, as you've porcelainized the hole around the ground. I mean, some of the things you just look at and you say, where did they come up with this stuff, and how come they have not changed anything? So I don't know what your thoughts were, John, but some of that stuff kind of blew me away a little bit.
Yeah, some of it I think is just simplicity, to get in there with a hose, clean up, and call it a day. They got to go skiing. They got things to do.
That's the other thing is that you have, and I never could quite, I didn't figure out why, but you can't arrive anywhere after 12:30 until about 3. And so we showed up in one town in Italy just to kind of do some sightseeing. We showed up like right at 12:45. And everything is closed down. And it's, from 12:30 to 3, and I don't know whether it's called siesta time, or I don't know if they go home and if their kids come home at the same time. I don't know what's going on, but there is no business conducted between 12:30 and 3, and that's frustrating when you travel halfway around the world. And you're trying to give them your euros because they don't look like real money anyway, so you try to get rid of them, and buy something. You cannot do it. So I didn't figure out the logic behind the 12:30 to 3 remark, although it explains a lot.
Yeah, it's just their lifestyle. That's what they do.
I guess. So I don't know what. I don't know. See, if I took off at 12:30 and had to come back at 3, I don't know how productive I would be from 3 to 7.
Right.
That's the problem.
Your motorcycle ride might turn into a little longer. And
yeah. Or my nap would just continue napping all the way. But I did find, you look at some things there and you say, okay, this is clearly where our future lies. And one of the most obvious was you look at automobiles and you look at gas prices. I think gas, what was it, John? Something like
$15, $16 a gallon by the time you.
Yeah, and diesel. Most of it runs off of diesel. Some places you can see it around 8 or 9. Depends on how you do the math and where you were. But so somewhere right around $10 a gallon, plus or minus a few bucks, and that is the norm. And every vehicle you see over there is not the Ford Excursion and the big van. They are very, very small, 2 and 4 passenger vehicles, and I would say 99.9% of them were diesel vehicles, and just because of the increased mileage. And it's funny, I got back.
And manual transmissions.
Yeah, that's right. And most of them were manual transmissions, and of course where we were, they were almost all 4-wheel drive just because of the weather. But I got back and found this article out of the Wall Street Journal, and it says the unloved diesel gets a boost in the United States. And this article goes on to talk about how, here we're all in love with the Prius and the battery operated this and that as the newest wave. But I don't think I saw a single. Did you see any hybrid type of cars over there, John? I don't think I saw a single hybrid vehicle.
I got a hybrid.
There.
Well, I did take the Prius to the airport from Geneva, so
okay. So you found one.
I didn't see any in France or Italy, but yes, in Switzerland. In
Switzerland, you did. So, and you start to look at the math on these things, and I thought this was an interesting comparison. They did a comparison of a hybrid, like a Toyota Toyota Prius hybrid, and they also compared it to a diesel and a gas vehicle. And clearly the gas vehicle is cheaper to buy, but not by much. The diesel is only a couple $1,000s more. And you start to factor in, the cost of fuel for a year, where a hybrid maybe runs you $1,200 and a regular gas engine's about $2,000, and the diesel's right in the center. So you start factoring in, the increased mileage, and it's no wonder that General Motors, Chrysler, Mazda are all coming out with diesel versions this year. Chrysler's coming out with the Jeep Grand Cherokee in a diesel version. So I think that in some aspects, we were looking forward a little bit there and seeing where our future lies. I don't think anybody believes gas is going to get cheaper. There's many people that believe in this country that believe that our current and many people in the environmental community want us to have $8 and $9 a gallon gas. They think it will cut down usage, and it probably would. And certainly in Europe, the extensive use of public transportation and the trains was obvious. I mean, the trains go everywhere. And that, for me, was one of the biggest. I mean, think about it, going from the Mexican border to the Canadian border, just going up California, how long that would take you to go from one country to another. And yet, in Europe, many of you probably know this, many of you probably been there, but you can go from Switzerland to France to Italy to all that within an hour. And there are no border crossing. I mean, you cross the border, you're crossing into another country, but there's not a guy with an AK-47 sitting there wanting to, thumb wrestle you to try to figure out why you're coming across the border. There is no, you just go. It's almost like one big country rather than three different countries. And I thought that was interesting. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not sure now why we do what we do here.
Yeah, right. We're we're running around with our passports in our pockets. Oh, we need them. You don't need a passport. And it's just go ahead and have a few euros in your pocket and cross the borders.
Yeah, so it was an interesting, fun trip. And I guess the lesson, I always try to figure out, kind of what is the lesson of the trip for me? What did I really learn, or what left an impact on me when I leave? And certainly there was, number one, the Italians are the most fun-loving, welcoming people I've ever met. And beside that, their food is incredible. But beyond that, there is a noticeable difference when you go into Italy than anywhere else, at least where we traveled, and that was certainly one of them. But I think what stuck out to me the most, we had kind of a guide, if you will, there, a gentleman named Pete, who was the brother of Tom, who was down there, and Pete was just a great character, but he's from the United States, but has been living in Italy and staying in that area, and he kind of was able to give us a lot of background. And I met a couple people there that kind of opened my eyes, and one of them was, like John said to start the show, is that, man, if you can get to Europe before you're 46, it is really an eye-opener on how important we think we are in the United States and how little they could give a crap about us, really, except for CNN, which is broadcast over there. Other than CNN, it is nice to kind of get away from the bickering, and certainly they have their own bickering over there. We just couldn't understand it. It wasn't in our language. Easier. But to get away from the United States a little bit and get away from and get a real world view of what's going on. And I met some very young people that were working for us there and working in the place, and they had just decided, I don't want to go right from from high school to college to getting married to having kids. I'm going to stop the train here for just a minute, and I'm going to learn about the world a little bit and get out and do a few things. And I guess I've always thought that never was something I ever did. I just kind of got on the path of progression and kept going and never actually really stopped. And to think about all the things that they are learning at 18 and 19 and 20 years old, and Pete's son Gabe, who was there, who spent his entire life traveling the world. So some of these kids have more world experience and more stories than at 20 years old than I'll have by the time I die.
Yeah, their education from that travel is definitely very unique, and you can't teach any of that. Yeah,
and I started thinking about my own daughters, and and if one of my own daughters came to me and said, "Hey, I don't want to go right to college, Dad. I want to go to Europe for a year and just travel around," and prior to that trip, I would say, "No way." And even now, I might have a hard time saying, anything but no way. But at least I would have some appreciation for how important that is to get out and see the world from a different side. So for me, it was very eye-opening, and I would hope that maybe everybody at some point in time could have some ability to experience that. And it was a great adventure for us, and it really opened my eyes to want to do more. I want to go see and do more things. So I do recognize one thing, though, that it is much easier to do that traveling when you're younger, and particularly maybe not so much younger, but in better shape, because you could see some people that were trying to get on these planes and trying to do this travel that were overweight and not in good health and struggling to do a long trip like that. It is a toll on the body, and so if you're able to do that while you're in better health, I highly recommend that you do it. Any other thoughts on that, John, before we move on?
Well, we have our 530 that says Europe is awesome, and then a bunch of other stuff. So he's on board with us. The trip was fantastic, just to see everything, the food. I could go for a baguette right now. At the time we were there, I didn't want to see another baguette in my life. But
bread and cheese, baby, bread and cheese. There is nothing green in France. I swear to you, there's nothing green. It's all bread and cheese. We have a cheese tray for dessert. And John, the joke of the trip from France is that the word is no. If you want something, the answer is no. If it's not on the list, the answer is no. And I thought Pete just cracked me up, because the kind of the common knowledge in France is that the French haven't really grasped the term of property rights yet. They don't really. That's not a concept that they have taken with. So if you had a little second home, like you'd have one in Truckee, if you had a second home in France and you were skiing there and you'd come back, the next week you're more than likely to see your neighbor with your skis and mountain bike out there in the front yard, and they're now his because you chose to leave him locked up in your house. That was your mistake.
It's all free game.
It's all free game. And by the way, don't bring your American Express card, because they ain't taking it.
Right.
They are not taking your American Express card in Europe. They're taking the Visa, and that's about it. So other than that, you're
Visa
on your own.
And your debit card for that funny money.
Yeah, if you're for funny money. I never did, for the most part, embrace the euro, because for me it looks like Vegas money. And it looks fake, so you'll just start handing it out because it doesn't look real to you. So I kind of stuck with the credit card concept, but the euro was didn't look like real money to me, so I didn't want to get too many of those in my pocket.
You were just afraid to have another Canada experience, I believe.
That's true. Oh, that reminds me. One more travel tip for you: do not tip the waitress in France and Italy. We were trying to figure out how to leave a 20% tip, and in the United States, if you get your credit card back, it says, okay, your bill is $64, and then there's another line for you to figure out the tip you want to put in, and you can total it out. But in Europe, I asked, where's the tip line? And she said, oh, you just leave cash. So we're trying to figure out how to leave 20% cash, and really what we found out is, through the hard way, is that your average waitress and people that are working in the service industry are probably making the equivalent of about $18 to $20 an hour over there, and getting full medical and everything else too. And so the price you're paying for things has really got all that built into it. So, right. I mean, maybe you'll leave $1 or $2. I mean, that would be considered a reasonable tip. But certainly, after we started leaving some 20% here and there, the fat Americans they were going to figure us out and follow us around the block a little bit.
Yeah, they were laughing at us. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys are not very good with math or French. So let's do this, Johnny. Let's take a break. I do have a quiz question for you.
All right.
We'll give away some. I think we still got a little bit of Gym Boy stuff. We're getting dangerously low on the Gym Boy certificates.
Very thin.
We're gonna have to. These are coveted prizes now. And we do have a fair number of Sierra Tahoe ski passes, so we'll give away those as well.
And the snow will be coming back soon.
The snow is coming back. So I was looking at the U.S. per capita consumption of carbonated soft drinks. In 2012, the average per American is about 42 gallons of soft drinks or carbonated drinks in the United States. That's going down, but it's still a lot.
Wow.
But that doesn't compare to this country. This country drinks 37 gallons of beer, Pilsner beer, every year, number one in the world. Which country drinks the most Pilsner beer? In fact, it is from that country. 37 gallons per capita per year, and they're trying to get them to start drinking more water so they can maybe cut down on the LBs there. So if you know the answer to that, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text Johnny at 44-1140. My name's Jeff Tarbell. That's John Fodero. Christopher Lott in the studio. We'll have to get the 15 seconds from Chris while he's back, and we'll be right back.
This
This is the all-new CBS Sports 1140, home of the Sacramento Kings. Don Geronimo in the morning. Live sports all day.
Any breaking news, you will hear it first right here.
We are CBS Sports 1140.
We are the proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hi, this is Jeff Tarbell, your host of Talkin Money. Many of you hardworking people have been diligently making your mortgage payments for the past many years and have not been able to refinance because you're upside down. For many of you, there is help. The HARP 2 program allows a refinance in many situations. If you'd like to discuss your options at no cost or obligation, give me a call today, 916-338-9400. That's
338-9400, JeffTarbell.com.
DRE 0105370, NMLS 249176. Hi, this is Jeff Tarbell, your host of Talkin Money. I want to personally open up my arms and say welcome back to you home buyers who went into foreclosure or short sale over the past 5 to 6 years. If it's been more than 3 years since that unfortunate event, or even 2 years after a bankruptcy, and you'd like to confidentially discuss your home buying options, I'm here to help. Give me a call today, 916-338-9400. That's
338-9400, JeffTarbell.com.
DRE 0105370, NMLS 249176.
The Elk Grove Auto Mall would like to thank everyone for making December a record sales month and making 2012 our best year ever.
And thanks to those record new car sales, the Elk Grove Auto Mall now has a great selection of factory-certified vehicles at terrific sale prices.
You'll find one of the area's largest selections of factory-certified vehicles at the Elk Grove Auto Mall, giving you more choices and more savings.
Every factory-certified vehicle at the Elk Grove Auto Mall is backed by a factory warranty, thorough safety check, and priced thousands less than new.
Yep, it's kind of like getting a new car, but for thousands less.
And remember, only a new car dealer can offer you factory-certified vehicles. And the Elk Grove Auto Mall has 22 of the area's leading brands in one convenient location.
Don't miss this great opportunity to save on a great selection of factory-certified vehicles.
Find it all at the Elk Grove Auto Mall Factory Certified Sale. The Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at the Elk Grove Boulevard exit. Online at elkgroveautomall.com.
If you want to make a meaningful career move, you have to find the right place to go. At University of Phoenix, we help you connect with the right people from the moment you decide to go back to school. Leading companies like AT&T, Sodexo, and Adobe are interested in our students and alumni because being prepared to pursue a career is a key reason to go back to school, right? Learn more at phoenix.edu. Let's get to work.
The savings just keep on coming at Maida Toyota. And right now, Maida Toyota's got some exceptional savings for you. Choose from 3 new 2012 Toyota Camry L 4 cylinders, now only $18,388 after $1,000 factory rebate. Or choose 0% financing in lieu of rebate. Lease it? Sure, for only $151 a month. How about a new 2012 Corolla LE? Maida Toyota priced at only $14,988 after $1,000 payment assistance. Or you can choose 0% financing or lease it for only $101 per month. Both in lieu of down payment assistance with 5 at these savings. Wow! Maida Toyota also has new 2013 Prius Package 2s for only $22,488 or lease for only $213 per month with 5 at these savings. All leases with $1,999 drive-off due at signing. Exceptional savings are yours now only at Maida Toyota, your hybrid marketplace off the Cap City Freeway at Fulton and MaidaToyota.com. It doesn't get any easier.
36-month post-tax license and any government fees based on 12,000 miles per year with a 15 cents per mile penalty. No security deposit required on approved credit. $1,000 down payment assistance must be matched by consumer.
Hello, fellow humans. Don Geronimo here for Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with more different games played at Capital Casino than anywhere in the region. Head into Capital Casino today and get your Capital Casino rewards card. The all-new Sunday tournament is back this weekend. Tournament starts at 11 o'clock Sunday morning, $120 buy-in, $5,000 guaranteed prize pool. Best food, best service, best games. Capital Casino is located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For information, log on to capital-casino.com. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Do you have a used or vintage musical instrument at home gathering dust? Guitar Center's experts are interested in buying it from you now through Sunday. You don't even need to be a musician. Look in attics and basements because we'll pay you top dollar for qualified guitars, amps, pedals, keyboards, drums, and more. It's the Used and Vintage Gear Expo at your local Guitar Center, now through Sunday. Looking to upgrade? We'll buy qualified used and vintage gear and give you a 15% discount on new gear. You can even trade gear. Find details and your local store at guitarcenter.com.
The blowout sale. It's on. Jacuzzi Hot Tub Super Center.
Hot tub starting at just $29.95.
4415 Granite Drive, off Highway 80 in Rockland.
Or call
916-315-TUBS. If you can't find it here, you won't find it anywhere.
This is CBS Sports 1140.
Talkin' money.
Well, alrighty then. We're back to Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Right. How you doing?
Doing good. Here we are, back in the studio. Saturday
in the
morning.
studio. Yeah, I'm actually in. Actually, the sun just cracked out here up in Meadowood in St. Helena. Beautiful spot up here. It's just little bungalows, little fireplaces in them, real nice. Unless you're by yourself trying to do business up here, in which case it's not so romantic. But what the heck? I forgot two things about my trip, and I promise I'll move on. But it took me 46 years to get there. I can spend 15 minutes talking about it. The craziest thing. I don't know that we have any true propaganda TV here in the United States. Although you might say MSNBC and Fox might be close, but the Russian television station on Sky TV is hilarious if you understand what you're watching. And basically, this is a permanent station that is, ongoing promotion for live in Russia and United States and Britain suck. I mean, that's, if you want to cap it all right there. So they will have a quote unquote news story with a guy who's theoretically sitting in front of the White House, but whenever he moves, the White House moves differently. So you can tell he's just sitting in a screen, there's a screen behind him. And he'll talk about how the military in the United States is nothing but a bunch of gangbangers. And he'll talk about how how people are routinely raped in Britain, and it's well known and it's all fine. And then they'll show a commercial of the idyllic Russian family going out to swing in the park and how life is great in Russia. So if you've never seen that, and I have not, first you look at it, you're like, okay, is this like a parody? Or you realize, no, this is a real station, and they're doing their thing there. So God bless them for it, I guess. If they're going to get out and do the Russian TV, which is unto itself, I thought was fairly interesting. If you haven't caught that before, the propaganda TV. Were you watching that channel there, Johnny?
I was trying not to.
You're trying not to?
Trying out the Bordeaux.
The Bordeaux. The other thing that I'll mention that as you start saying you're looking into the future, looking into the past in Europe, looking into the future, I would say now John and I and Justine and many of us were skiing, probably on the upper sections of a lot of the hills, and yeah, I would say, what do you think, John? Maybe half of everybody that got on the chair or got on the gondola with us was wearing the ABS backpack.
Yes, definitely.
The ABS back. Go ahead.
I was just going to say there's little different rules there. If you go off piste, and nobody's really coming to find you or look for you.
Yeah, that's a good point. A great point, actually. I forgot to mention. So here in the United States, if you go skiing or snowboarding, there's a high school kid there who's probably from a different country, but he's there to carefully guide you on the chair and carefully get you off the chair. And every run is pointed, this is the safe area, this is not the safe area. And in Europe, the only real safety measure they ask you is when you buy your lift ticket, they say, do you want insurance? And I asked her, I said, well, okay, what do I need insurance for? And she said, basically, in case you want us to come find you. And then I proceeded immediately to go over my head and damn near knock myself clean out. But at least I was on the run and John could find me. But in the rules, I'm guessing there's no trial attorneys in Europe. That's the only thing I can think of. Because over there, if you fall off the chair, or if you even get on the chair right, or if you fall off a cliff, you know what? You should have been paying attention. Because that's the rules over there, right?
Yeah, because there's a sign that says you may fall on your head and you may hurt yourself.
That's right.
That's the rules.
And the sign may be somewhere near the cliff, and it may not be. There's a little sign of a guy tripping over the edge, and that may be in the section you're at, or it's not. And there is, we are so overboard here with our security measures, and you could say that's good or bad, but there is just nothing over there. And so what we're referring to on these ABS bags is basically, this is think about an airbag in your car. This is an avalanche safety device. You wear it on a backpack. I wear a backpack anyway. And there's a little T-handle up by your left shoulder. And if you're skiing in a section where it starts to slide, and believe me, that would be very easy to see. And that's the other thing you don't notice over there, because it snowed most every day a little bit. I never heard one avalanche cannon going off. I didn't hear anything like that going to protect that. So you're on your own. And the forest over there is wide open. Here in the United States, what is so frustrating is that everything is regimented into a little area. You can ski in this section, you can mountain bike over here, you can ride a motorcycle over here. In Europe, the Alps are yours. If you decide you want to climb and hike to the top of that mountain and ski down it, go right ahead. But you're on your own. And so we noticed just everywhere, people with these skiing airbags, and they basically what they do. The intention is you pull the trigger on them, they'll send out 2 airbags out to the side of you, and the thought is it'll help you kind of float to the surface, if you will, of the avalanche. And if nothing else, it will make it easier to find your body.
Yeah, I mean the difference here in the States is for $300 to $500 you can wear a beacon. Well, a beacon typically is just they're going to come and find you,
right?
Potentially 10 or 15 feet under the snow. Where with an ABS bag, you can even say Sierra at Tahoe and some of their back gates, there's more and more avalanches, more and more deaths with people getting buried and or getting plowed into trees and things like that. So with this ABS, I was actually able to release one, very calm, very opening, and it floats you to the top. It releases some compression if you're hitting things. There's a lot of different purposes for it, and at $1,000 a whack, they're buying them like crazy. And it's because they want to save their lives. We're over here. It's like, there's somebody to guide me, or there's this or that.
Yeah, and more of the skiing here in the United States is on the trails or on a section that has been monitored or been cleared, or at least attempted to be cleared. Where over there, more of the norm is it's not. And
right.
So and more of the better skiing over there is in the areas that is off piste, PISTE, which is basically off the track. And so it's very common. But I think you'll see more. I think, A, you'll see the prices come down on these things, and I think, B, you'll see more and more of them in this country very soon. In fact, both John and I, looked at those and said that's in the areas that we like to ski and where we like to ski, to spend $800 or $900 and have that on your backpack. Besides, you can put all the rest of your crap in the backpack anyway, and you're going to carry one anyway. So I think that makes a lot of sense, particularly when they're reusable. If you have to inflate one, you just get another canister and do it again.
Yeah.
So, hey, did we get a quiz winner to our quiz question?
We did.
Okay.
And we had a couple people that were thinking, I think, beer, which Germany was one of their answers. Several people thinking Germany, just based on beer and some good beers out there. But that was not the answer, was it, Jeff?
The answer was the Czech Republic.
Okay.
And the Czech Republic drinks, the average person in the Czech Republic drinks an average of 37 gallons of Pilsner beer, liquid bread they call it, per year. And they are trying, and actually to go into a bar, it costs more money to get a glass of water at the bar than it does a glass of Pilsner beer. So they're trying, the government over there is trying to change that so they can cut down. I'm guessing there's a few calories in the old Pilsner liquid bread there.
37 gallons a year, yeah, probably.
Hey, we're drinking 42 gallons of pop. I'm not sure that's any better for you. So probably go with the beer. At least there's something in there that looks good for you.
I know we could talk about Europe all day long, but one of the things is you get a soda over there. It's a small soda. It's not an extra triple large grande. It is
and there's no ice.
It's just this little can of soda. You get your little sugar hit, and you're gone.
And speaking just of a pure business sense now, just to talk about skiing and recreating as a business, forget where you do it. So the average ski ticket in where we skied was about $60. And I would say the average ticket in the United States is probably closer to, what, John, 80?
Yeah,
75, 80,
plus,
75,
yeah.
$80. And I think part of it has to do with the fact that when you go to these resorts over there, some of the lifts we rode on, I looked at these things and I'm like, this thing had to have been built in the 30s or 40s. I cannot believe it's still holding all of us in this thing. And look like a death cage. And some of them were in the new high-speed detached. So I'm guessing that a lot of these resorts have been around there for hundreds of years. And you take someone like the Vail Group who's going out and buying up all these resorts. They're spending a tremendous amount of money. They have to get their money back. So I'm sure some of that's in the economics of just, they have a lower cost threshold than we do. But what I don't get and what I don't understand, and I think I even put this on one of my Facebook pages when I was there, is why does the food have to be so bad in the United States at the ski resorts? Because when we ate there, no matter which resort we were at, I mean, they had, I don't know if they were professional chefs. Yeah, they're professional, getting paid to cook. They're professional chefs. But I mean, they had really good quality food. And the experience there was really nice. And you come here, even the best places here, unless you're in a high-end restaurant in one of the resorts here, if you go to just like the cafe, I mean, you're lucky if your burger's cooked all the way through. Shoot, the thing is half cold and it's just overexpensive. I don't get that. I don't understand why we can't duplicate that here. And I don't know. Maybe because we're hiring 15-year-old kids to run everything here. I don't know what it is, but it's frustrating when you can see what it could be, and then shoot, you come back and it's nothing like it. So that was that's my last comment about our trip there. Unless you got anything else there, Johnny?
No, we can move on. Great time. No.
We do got to take another break, and I do have another quiz question as well. And I'm going to come back to Phil Mickelson, because Phil Mickelson stepped in it this week, and I feel very bad for him because what he said, we say on the show every single week. Of course, I'm sure that a few more people listen to Phil Mickelson than they listen to dumbasses like us. But Phil stepped in it this week, and I think that he was right to do it. So we'll talk about what Phil's done. Your first paycheck, have you got your first check of the year yet? How'd that feel?
A little lighter.
A little Social Security changes, and a little Obama tax, a little Obamacare, a little Prop 32. I had 4 people to me in the first 4 days I was back tell me they're out of California. In the first 4 days, I'm like, come on, I've been back like 9 seconds. Don't tell me you're leaving already. And one of them was me. I'm moving. I'm moving somewhere. So we got another quiz question, and we'll come back and talk about that as well. So up until this week, Apple was the most valuable company in the world. And they are no longer number 1. They are now number 2.
Number 2.
So who is number 1? Who is the most, or which company is the most valuable company by stock value in the world? 339-1140. 1-800-920-1140. You can text Johnny there at 441140. You can send us a smoke signal. You can drive to St. Helena. Do whatever you want to do. We'll be right back. This is Talkin' Money. My name is Jeff Tarbell. John Fodorero. We'll see you in just a minute.
He's so awesome.
He starts where the others stop.
Don Geronimo in the morning.
He's a troublemaker.
He deals with topics that the other talk shows are afraid to touch.
He's a rabble-rouser.
The Don Geronimo Show is on the all-new CBS Sports 1140.
Tonight, the Kings are in the Mile High City looking to throw it down on the Nuggets.
With the left hand and scores. DeMarcus Cousins. No.
Tip off at 6, and all the action is right here. We are CBS Sports 1140, home of your Sacramento Kings.
So, you want to thank your client with a gift, but it's got to be an epic win. The answer? Cupcakes. Cupcake Craving has gourmet cupcakes featuring your business's logo. Your clients will eat them up. And Cupcake Craving makes it easy with online ordering, delivery, and monthly billing. Just email us your logo and we make it happen. Like we do for Talkin' Money radio host and Comstock Mortgage Vice President, Jeff Tarbell.
So often when a business transaction is over, a mere thank you just doesn't seem sufficient. And for years now, I've used Cupcake Craving to deliver that extra big thank you to my client's home or office. That little extra touch adds a smile to their face and acts as a great way to solidify our future business relationship.
From boardrooms to church socials, weddings, and school functions, Cupcake Craving is perfect anytime. Visit us today in Sacramento at How About Arden, Riley Street in Folsom, and at Sugar Daddy's on East Street in Davis. Or call 916-923-5995. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and order your epic win online at cupcakecraving.com.
Oh, life's so good in a Maida Chevy.
The huge new car clearance at Maida Chevy is on, with all in-stock savings on every remaining 2012 and 2013 Chevy in stock.
Yes, every new 2012 and 2013 Chevy at Maida Chevy is on sale, with exclusive all-in-stock savings on each and every one.
Every model, every color, every option, every new 2012 and 2013 at Maida Chevy is on sale at fantastic New Year clearance prices, including the all-new Volt.
Visit NativeChevy.com and all the discounts for yourself. It's that easy, and the savings are that big.
All in-stock pricing on every new 2012 and 2013 Chevy in stock is yours now, exclusively at Maida Chevy and online at NativeChevy.com, where Chevy runs deep.
Maida Chevy, Sacramento County's #1 Chevy dealer for the past 8 years. Online at NativeChevy.com, where Chevy runs deep.
Based on Sacramento County retail sales. All in-stock pricing on every new 2012 and 2013 Chevy, exclusively at Maida Chevy in the Elk Grove Auto Mall.
See all the savings online at NativeChevy.com.
If you love a great deal, you've already hit the post-holiday sales for things like reindeer ornaments. But the winter clearance at Orchard Supply Hardware is different. Big savings on things you use all year long, like 30% off Ketter sheds and up to 50% off select patio sets, outdoor rugs, and barbecues. And now through Saturday, get 15% off any single thing in the store, including sale items. Exclusions apply. The winter clearance at Orchard. A great way to start the year.
5 at this price, 2013 Alex Optima. $1,000 lease cash. $1,000 owner loyalty or competitive bonus. $500 military. $4,500 down. $99 plus tax at $39.
Okay, we're here once again with Michael Crawford. Michael, everyone's talking about the new Kia Optima. Let's give our listeners 3 reasons why they should come to Sacramento Kia and check it out.
How about JD Power Association Best Buy in its class for luxury and sportiness?
Okay, number 2.
Are you ready for this? How about a lease payment as low as $99 a month?
And number 3.
Oh, 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
Just listen to what our customers have to say.
Before I went to Sacramento Kia, I dreaded buying a car. But Michael Crawford changed all that, and I can't believe how easy it was. Michael Crawford was genuine and made me feel like I was part of the Kia family. Best of all, I got a killer deal. And they got me out of a car that was too small and into a brand new Kia that is perfect for my growing family.
So there you go, Sacramento Kia, 2820 Fulton Avenue or sacramentokia.com, where
Michael Crawford wants to see ya in a Sacramento Kia.
Hi, this is Walt Shaw, and this week on our Farm and Agriculture Report, I'll be talking with Steve Olson, the Movento Product Manager for Bayer Crop Science. Join us starting at 6 a.m. And remember, when I talk business, I mean agribusiness.
Hi, this is Jeff Tarbell, your host of Talkin' Money. Homeowners, you might be shocked to hear this, but there's a huge demand for resale homes right now and an equally strong demand for people who want to rent your home. If you've been sitting around wishing you could buy your next home, now is a very good time to make that move. If you'd like to discuss the pre-approval process of your next home with me, give me a call. 916-338-9400. That's
338-9400. JeffTarbell.com.
DRE 010537000. NMLS 249176. Hi, this is Jeff Tarbell, your host of Talkin' Money. Many people of retirement age have been struggling with reduced income and a stagnant stock market. Fortunately, there are some options, like a reverse mortgage. This loan allows a homeowner with equity to tap into some of that money. If you or someone you know is over 62 and would like to discuss this confidentially, give me a call. 916-338-9400. That's
338-9400. JeffTarbell.com.
DRE 010537000. NMLS 249176.
This is CBS Sports 1140, home of the Sacramento Kings.
Talkin' Money.
And we're back to Talkin' Money. And here's Jeff Tarbell.
Right. How you doing?
Doing good. We're here. A lot of people.
We're here.
A lot of people. A lot of people in the know about companies and their values these days.
Oh yeah.
Text lines are lit up.
Okay. So you can jump in if you have some questions or you want to get on the phone. I know we've been just yakking about our trip, and I apologize if that's boring you, but it's just the way it goes. 339-1140 if you want to jump in. You can text Johnny there at 441140. My question before the break was that Apple was the number one most valuable company based on their outstanding stock shares by times their price. And that ended this week, and Apple didn't have such a good week lately. I think they're down, 37% since hitting their all-time high on September 19th. They're down, so they're getting beat up a little bit this week. And so now the number one most valuable company in the world is, what answers did you get there, Johnny?
ExxonMobil. Yep. We got Randy and Rick out there looking for some Jim Boy's tacos.
Oh no. Jim Boy's is like, what's funny is they're like, the Jim Boy's is like a lunch certificate, and to John and I, it might as well be like gold bar certificates because we're running short. I'm pressing hard for our marketing person Lisa to get back in touch with Jim Boy's and get some more. They have been the number one sponsor since we started this show. So I have faith we will get more Jim Boy's. But we have them. We got enough to give out.
Absolutely.
So ExxonMobil, number one company in the world. You look at what happened, and you wonder. Okay, was the Apple 5 phone, was it a piece of junk? It doesn't sell well. I did see an article that compared the price of that phone worldwide, and while everybody signs a contract and gets them fairly cheap, but what they were finding is that like Verizon and other companies were selling more of the 4S's and the 4s than the new 5 because they're so deeply discounted now because the 5 is out. They were selling the older product, so the 5 hasn't taken off as much as they had hoped. And I think that a lot of it has to do with Samsung and their marketing. And Samsung spent $200 million, an ad campaign, $200 million. And if you recall the ad, they're great ads. But you see everybody in line waiting for the Apple iPhone 5, and the guy comes up with the new Samsung and says, "Hey, the greatest thing's already right here." And then he taps the phone to his buddy, and they exchange pictures or whatever. Well, that campaign has kicked Apple in the butt. I mean, it has really hurt them, and it's put Samsung's fourth quarter profit was up 76%. So $200 million is a lot to spend, but they were up huge sales. And Samsung almost, I think they have about 28% of the global smartphone market, and Apple's about 20%. So Samsung, the Korean company, took it to them. And I think that has been Apple's, that has been the number one thing that has helped Apple. Now, you talk to somebody like myself who resisted Apple forever. I mean, just forever. And even to this day, I still use, IBM or Windows stuff for work. But when you finally make that conversion, you get the iMac and the iPad and the iPad Mini and the iPhone 4 or 4, whatever you do. You kind of swallow that Kool-Aid a little bit. You are screwed. Because I don't know how, if I got another phone now, I mean, I don't even know how it would work with all the other stuff I have, and how do you link it up and get your music and to save all your things. So I'm on the Apple, I'm on the Apple gravy train there, or the graveyard, I'm not sure which, but I don't know how you get off that. And yet Samsung's done a phenomenal job getting people to come over, and they're kind of now the new phone. And if you look at that Samsung phone, it's pretty cool looking, and it's got a heck of a lot bigger screen. So that has hurt Apple quite a bit, and they need to get back to the cool factor, because obviously they almost all do the same thing. I mean, functionally, but it's just kind of what is that product, and I think Samsung has got them by the hair there, and is running with it.
I think they're doing real well with the younger market too. A lot of their advertising, the cool factor, how clean and neat it is. Really doing a good job. I know my 10-year-old Dylan thinks that's the best phone. That's the one he needs. And I'm like, dude, you're 10. But obviously the marketing is working, and that's what people are wanting.
So I mentioned before the break there, how did your first paycheck come out of the year? And payroll tax, Social Security taxes have reverted back to the 6.2% of your salary. It was at temporary 4.2. Here's the other thing to keep in mind, that quite a few of you who make, I can't remember the cutoff for Social Security. I want to say it's $80,000, or maybe it's as high as 100. But there's a lot of you who, at some point during the year last year, just quit paying Social Security tax altogether, because once your income goes over a certain level, you don't pay anymore. So that when that kicks back in, and then kicks back in at the regular rate, you go back from paying 0 to paying 6.2%. And then for people in that higher income brackets that are now into the higher tax brackets from the Fed, and now into Prop 32 and the higher tax bracket from the state, that was a fairly rude awakening on January 15th when that first check came out. And it doesn't matter where you are on the income scale. They figure that the average person has probably lost about $1,000 a year just from the Social Security reverting back to where it should be. Remember, that's not an increase in tax. That's a revision back to where the tax was. They basically did a temporary decline in that. So you add all those things up, and I wasn't kidding when I say, I've been back in the United States for 48 hours, and I had, that would put us right around where the first paycheck was hitting. I had 4 different people that I know, a couple clients and a couple friends, said, my check, what I make and what I got was 50% of what, I got. My check was 50% of what my gross was, and that isn't going to go well for people who can do something about it. And certainly in California, there's a lot of people that don't need to be here. And I think that the projections that they're using now for income, and the state of California did get more income. They actually got more income in one day. I want to say it was one day in January, which would have been all the fourth quarter payments for the self-employed. More income in one day than they had maybe ever, and certainly in a long time. So California is feeling pretty good about itself. But I think there's a flip side to that coin, and I think you're going to see strategic movements now for people who don't have to be here to say, could I do what I'm doing in Arizona or Nevada or Washington? Could I move around a little bit and do those same things somewhere else without affecting my life too much, and get away from at least the state tax portion of it? And I think that when it's all said and done, I'm not sure how much of a net gain we'll have. I mentioned at the beginning of the show that Phil Mickelson made a comment, a very honest comment, and they were interviewing him about his investment in potentially buying in part of the San Diego Padres. And I guess Phil was going to be an investor or a major investor or celebrity investor, whatever you want to call it, and he backed out. And he cited the drastic changes in California's tax rules, and he was being very honest about it. And there's a guy who I think it's so totally unfair that there's a guy who no way has to live in California. Tiger Woods doesn't live in California. Tiger Woods lives in Florida. There's no taxes there. And he was lambasted for making an honest comment about saying, you know what, the state of California has taken a lot of my discretionary income now. I don't have as much money to put into other investments. And B, I'm not sure I can afford to stay here. And it's hard because you look at him and say, well, the guy's a multimillionaire. You know, what a greedy SOB. I can't believe he would say that. But you know what? In golf, if you don't win, you don't get paid. I mean, certainly you have some endorsements, and those will last for a little bit. But you can wait. I played golf poorly, you can see you could wake up one day and your golf game can be gone. So there's no guarantee that he's going to make any more money in the future. And to say that he should stay here and keep paying out more and more taxes, and to criticize him for that, I think is totally unfair. And he apologized for that, which I think was ridiculous, but that was his choice. I just think the whole incident is a good example of looking around and saying, who has to stay here and put up with this? And now someone has made him into a martyr for making a comment about, gee, I don't want to give all my family's money away to the government, and he's a bad guy. I think it's ridiculous. I don't know what your thoughts are, but if you have some comments, you can jump in at 339-1140 or text us at 44-1140. Did you see that wraps that up on the payroll stuff? So I'm sure did we ever get to Chris Verlaud's 15 seconds today? We have to give Chris a closing segment there. Is he ready to go with that today, Johnny?
He's scrambling, I think. He's scrambling around.
Okay.
Yeah.
We haven't heard from Chris in a while. He's been on the on the big shows a little bit, and so we'll let him give us his summary. We'll let Chris have the last minute there, John, when he's ready to.
I've been locked out for higher pay, and you held off. You held me off.
I did. You demanded the high dollars, and I had to put you down, huh?
I wanted to get up to minimum wage, but
it's that kind of greediness, Chris. It is not going to get you far in life. You and Phil Mickelson can both eat one. You're both greedy. So what is on the mind of Chris Verlaud? First of all, what have you been doing?
Been working here. Been working hard. We've got a team to save.
Yeah? How's that working out?
It's looking good. If all the reports are true, which we've all heard sources say, but if we get a new owner, if Kevin Johnson brings in the whale that he's been talking about, I feel pretty good about Sacramento's chances.
Now, do you think that which whale do you think? I think that Larry Ellison would be cool if we could pull that together, because maybe we get hockey too. But which whale are you referring to?
I think it's most likely going to be Burkle.
Okay.
The report said that he met with David Stern on Thursday. People said that he was in Sacramento on Wednesday. So that looks like he might be the new owner of the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, that would be an interesting. And I don't know if you follow this, but the I just went blank on the state senator who did a quick little investigation into Microsoft to see how the state of California and Microsoft are doing business together.
Daryl Steinberg.
Steinberg. I thought that was a nice little backhanded approach to say, maybe you guys don't want to buy our team, or you won't do business here anymore. I thought that was fun. So anyway, Chris, good to see you. Good to hear from you. Johnny, thank you very much. And shout out to my buddy Tom and Pete and Dave and Phil, all of our participants that were in Europe with us that are listening all over the state and all over the country. I hope you guys had as great a trip as we did. We'll see you next week, everybody. Be cool. Aloha.
Talkin' money.